My name is Nick Abbruzzese, and I've been with Abbruzzese Floors for the last 11 years full-time as of 2023, but have been involved since I was a teenager.
So I'm Anthony Abbruzzese with Abbruzzese Floors now for full-time for 12 years.
So prior to my dad starting the company, he was a landscaper for 15 or so years.
My dad loves landscaping. He loves plants, he loves trees, he loves grass. We still have in the warehouse his skid steer, his bobcat, and that's like his fourth child. He'll never get rid of it. Landscaping was my dad's, like, it's another passion of his.
With landscaping here in New York, it's very seasonal. So during the winter months, if there was no snow to plow, he would have to find work through friends and family members.
Fortunately, our uncle has a floor covering company and he needed somebody to do rip-ups in the winter time. So he asked my dad, and my dad got his landscaping crew and went over there and started ripping up floors for my uncle.
He has stories of him trying to use the bobcat to rip up carpet and tile and all that inside of Marshall's, and realized that he was able to keep himself and his landscaping crew of guys busy during the winter months, and realized that he was onto something here.
And he was like, I can't believe this. Like, this is indoor work. I don't have to freeze. I don't have to go out in the sun, and I got good money, and I think I was able to support my family. That's how it started. It started by doing floor rip-ups. Then him and my uncle saw a guy doing self-leveling cement on a job, and my dad immediately said, I could do that. From there, we just did little job after little job after little job, and I think I came of age probably 2 or 3 years after he did his first couple self-leveling jobs.
And I would just push a broom, mix cement bags, or what I really did most of the time was run cement buckets.
We would mix the cement in barrels, in like pickle barrels, and Nicky would run it out to us.
From 13 to 15, I've ran thousands of Ardex cement barrels. That was my main job, was running the barrels from the mixing station to the floor.
And my dad taught me how to use the spreader and the smoother, and me and him would be out there doing that. He moved from doing something he was truly passionate about into flooring, which he became equally passionate about. I mean, you got to hear him talk about it. He goes into the weeds and he loves flooring. So that's where this whole company was born from.
So our first warehouse goes all the way back to a shipping container. That was our shop at the time, which from there then scaled to a mezzanine section inside of my uncle's warehouse, and that became his own inside first official warehouse. From there we moved on to renting our own space, where it was about 1,100 square feet. The office was 100 square feet and the warehouse was 1,000 square feet. We quickly outgrew that location, and it just got so cluttered with equipment. There was no space to do any kind of work or samples. Every time we went to the shop to load up for a job site, we would have to pull the whole shop out into the parking lot, grab whatever tools that we needed for that specific day or job, then go back to the parking lot, pull everything back inside the warehouse, finally lock up and leave. And it would add hours to our day. So after 5 years at that location, we were able to find and relocate to a bigger warehouse, which was 5,000 square feet, which felt like we were lost in it. That one had about 500 square feet of office space and 4,500 square feet of warehouse space. At this new location, we had all the room in the world. We were able to organize it, set up locations specifically for tools, and we still had room to work and maneuver and park trucks if we needed to. And it really cut down on our loading and unloading time, because we didn't have to fill up the parking lot with all of our equipment just to load trucks and then bring everything back in. We were able to do it all within the warehouse for the first time. We were at that location for about 5.5, almost 6 years before moving to our current location where we're at now, which is 7,500 square feet with about 1,000 square feet of office space and 6,500 square feet of warehouse space. At our first warehouse location, we had no room to do anything. So whenever we had to do a sample for a particular project, We would have to just stack on top of pallets and find whatever corner or area that we could use to make work and make the samples wherever we could. Now at our new location, we have a dedicated area just for samples where all the tooling in there stays there at all times, never leaves, and we always have what we need inside of this, our own little space for samples. We also have a dedicated area for our mechanic that will repair any kind of equipment that comes damaged or broken from a job. And he has his own little oasis where he could repair all the machines using all the tools and industry standard lifts that he could ever need to fix the machines. All of his equipment stays in that area, never leaves. There's never fumbling for a screwdriver or a ratchet set or a socket set. Everything always stays in that area, which was a breath of fresh air, because anytime we ever had to try and fix anything in our previous shops, it was scrambling through job boxes or old tool boxes looking for any kind of tooling to make work. But now we're fortunate enough to just have everything we need right at arm's reach. So with the growth of the company and hiring more employees, naturally we're able to take on larger work.
I think it was probably 12 years ago, we had our first big job, and it was a 16,000 square foot grind and seal. And coming off of all the smaller jobs that we did in the past, it felt like this monster that we couldn't wrap our minds around how big it was. And I remember walking on it and just being in awe of how big the floor was, and talking to my dad and Nick and saying, how are we gonna do this? And little by little, we just took one section and one section and one section and slowly broke it up and reduced that intimidation factor down to when we eventually completed the first big job, and we were super proud of ourselves. And then from there, we were looking to say, how we get the next one? How do we get that next one? Because if we could do that, we could do it again.
That larger work was easily able to be fielded and warehoused by having our larger warehouses, and the warehouses grow with us as a company. So the bigger work just started pouring in, the more success we had with the smaller jobs.
And that's exactly what happened. We just kept rolling into the next big one, the next big one, and you know, here we are today. We're like, that size job is still a great size job, but it's so manageable now that it's such an evolution to have witnessed, and I'm very happy to have been around at that time in the company to see that happen. So right now we have about 18 people on our team. That has dramatically increased from back when we first started from just a handful of people. The good thing is that our quality has maintained the whole time as our team increased in size, which is not, it's very difficult to do that. And that's the whole trick right now, is how to increase our team size while maintaining the standards that our dad has bred into us.
From the early stages of us starting work with Dad, he always would teach us to leave the job sites cleaner than what you found them. Doesn't matter if we walked into them messy, clean or not, we were leaving them cleaner than what we found them, and we still do that to this day. And it drives him nuts if he sees a coffee cup or anything like that on the floor. He's very attention to detail in that manner.
And he never cut any corners. He always made sure that the customer was exceedingly happy, and made sure that the word of mouth always went around that we were a good company to work with.
And it has just scaled through his teachings to us and our team members, and now our team members teach the new team members. And so the quality was always there. It's still at a very high scale, but we've just been able to expand the amount that we're able to handle now and put out.
So that's the whole trick of growing a team, is making sure that you can maintain those standards while, you know, expanding. The other benefit of having a larger team is that things can get done more efficiently. Instead of the 3 of us running around like crazy, there's 18 of us, and we're able to spread the load a lot more evenly and make sure that no one person is feeling too much pressure. I think that's also like the evolution of a company in general. So I think that we're gonna continue growing and expanding on our team while maintaining my dad's original standard of work.
One thing Dad instilled in us as kids was to give something your all. Whatever you're doing, give it your all. Don't half-ass it.
Our core values, it's an acronym for CARE, and it's community, above and beyond, responsibility, and ethics. Community is ultimately the biggest component of this because it's people, and people make up the company. And we want to make sure that we're fostering a community of hard work, but also growth. It's not hard work to the point of working hard and showing up every day and going nowhere. It's hard work and growth. So we want to make sure that we're working hard to grow towards the people and the company that we know that everybody a part of this can be. And it's not just me, my brother, and my dad. It's everybody that's involved, from the guy sweeping the floors all the way up to the foreman to our warehouse manager, everybody. We want to see everybody grow as a community and become closer as a community as well.
Above and beyond, that goes back to leaving the job site cleaner than how we found it. We do more than what is expected or asked of us, no matter what the situation is, and we over-deliver on our value to the client and exceed their expectations.
Responsibility. Now that kind of piggybacks off of the above and beyond, where you want to make sure that you're ultimately responsible for, one, what you say, and two, what you do. And my dad has ingrained that into our heads. And we have done our very best to make sure that we can disseminate that into the company culture as well. We want to make sure that anything that we say that we could do, we do it and then add on top of that as well, which leads into ethics, the E.
Ethics. This comes down to being a good person and doing what is right.
We try and surround ourselves with a team that has a great moral compass and has ethics, and make sure that, like, when they see something out of place on a job, they go back and they're like, no, that's not right. That's not right. Let's go fix that, because that's not what I would want at the end of a job if I was paying for this. Or even if something goes wrong, like if a mistake happens and the job gets a little messed up, we go back, we have the correct ethics and moral compass to go back and fix it. Not on the client's dime, not on anything like that. We make sure that we uphold our word and give the client what they paid for and then some.
We care about getting the job done right. We don't cut corners. We care about the end result. We care about the end client, even if we've never met them. We care about making the GC look good to the end client. We care about the next guy that's going to step foot on our floor. Even if our job is done at that point, we want to ensure that what we do makes sense for the next guy to come on the job and make sure that he can have his job come out right because of the foundation that we laid before him. We sleep better at night knowing that we did the right thing for not only us, but for the whole job site as a whole.
The easiest way to describe the mission that we are on as a company doesn't encompass flooring only. It encompasses what it means to be an American blue-collar worker. At one time, it was, a very proud thing to be able to work with your hands and to go to work, show up, do your job, build something that's going to last years, and go and be proud of that and be proud of what you do. Our mission is to make that, something that is revered again and that is respectable. I think that it's super important for people to realize how important the trades are. And our mission as a company is to make sure that, at least in our part as flooring, we do our very, very best to show that our guys put in an honest day, they bring home good money to their families, and that we're trying to change how everyone views the trades, and to make sure that we show that you're going to be valued and you're going to be shown how needed you are in society, and that you're helping build something that's going to last way into the future. and could be part of a society that's benefiting not only you, not only your kids, but your grandkids. And it's super, super important. That's why that's our mission, is to make sure that we have respect for the trades again and to show how good it is to be part of the trades. In the future, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to innovate. We're going to continue to be the tip of the spear when it comes to anything involving our industry. If it's concrete polishing, epoxy, and self-leveling cement, we want to make sure that we are the tip of the spear and we bring the most innovation, the best communication, the best processes, the best way to get your job done. I see that as our future 5 and 10 years. I also see that as our future 20 years and 30 years. I want to be around forever in this industry. And I want to make sure that whatever we do, our reputation continues to grow along with our hard work ethic.